lived up to that promise. He said, don't worry, I'm thinking about it. And some of the technologies that he applied there, like hydraulic system and some other things, which were today the state of the art, but they were tried in 1998. So, couple of questions. When you moved out of Mumbai to Pune, and I recall coming to Pune in '96, if you're looking for a slightly upscale apartment, it was difficult. You could not find one. So, how did you choose Pune over, let's say, Bangalore or any other place?
Actually, that is by coincidence, I would say, frankly. We looked at both Bangalore and Pune, and the first option or the first deal of land which we could click was in actually Bangalore.
Okay.
Yeah. But it so happened that after about 3 months or 4 months of struggle, that deal fell through, and the other deal which we were working on Pune got clear, and we could move on to Pune. Pune also maybe probably because my education was here, my comfort level was more here, more closer to home from Bombay, and the contacts and where you are more comfortable in terms of all other back-end contacts were all available between Bombay and Pune. So that's how we started in Pune and continued growing in Pune. And since the opportunities in Pune were very good, it never happened for us to go to Bangalore.
I want to go back to, you said 5 to 7 years of working, and you worked at Hindustan Construction, and then you did a lot of work for Cipla.
Yeah.
And I think you demonstrated in Cipla on-time delivery, large-scale deployment. And I think when you did the, Goa, Kurum,
Goa.
they offered you a chief engineer's job.
Yeah, that was at Kurkum, yes.
Kurkum,
yeah.
And you turned it down.
Yes.
And some of them were pretty upset, saying that you turned down a young project engineer turning down a big chief engineer's job. So what was the thought process there?
See, now going back to my first, as I said before, my aim was to become an entrepreneur. That was something in my blood. I tried to analyze how did it happen, because my family, there is no history or anything. I was born and brought up in a place in Bombay called Jain Society, many of you will know, where purely Jains live there. Most of the people are entrepreneurs. As I passed out from school, out of 15 of our group, the cricket team, 15, only 4 people went to college. And I was one of those 4. Rest all were into business. Maybe that's which was, put embedded in me. But I was very clear from that point of time that I have to be in business. So that bug was there in me. And as I got out of college, again typically you try going to US, going to outside, or in our days Kuwait and Middle East was very popular. So I had opportunity, 3 universities admissions with me, but none of the universities would offer me scholarships, so I had to pay for it. My dad was very, very considerate. He said, fine, I'll break my PF, you go. And then I had a first offer which I got was from a Kuwait company at salary which I could not have even imagined, which was something like 15 times of what I would have got in India for a similar job. 15 or 20 times of what I was getting in India. Taking all these opportunities, since I was clear that I want to do it, entrepreneur in India. In fact, I checked with my cousins who are in the States, and they said, if you're coming here, and if you're coming here only for doing an MS for a year, it's waste. It's more of an acclimatizing learning you will get. So you need to do much beyond that to really get knowledge, or you need to start working here, which was not my decision. So I said no. So I rejected those 2 options and came back to work within India. And when I worked within India, I then went into this construction company, because it was one of the biggest construction companies, and engineering wise offering great challenges. And I joined there, and it was a disappointment for me. 1.5 to 2 years of working. Yes, technically and engineering wise, there was great learning there. But in terms of career prospects or in terms of improving your leadership qualities, very poor. Since you are one in 1,000 type of a drop in the ocean, if the treatment you get, whether you work or you don't work, in bigger organization, what happens typically was what it was. So the first opportune movement of, I didn't want to run away in 3 months or 6 months. So it took my time of 1.5 years, and within 1.5 years I came back. Then joined some small term contracting firm in Bombay, from a big giant to a single owner proprietary contracting firm. And there, within a year, I learned what is business. And I worked for 2 to 3 years with two or three different, because I wanted different experience, and worked with 2-3 different contractors. And then I said, now it's time for me to start. But again, as all of us know, in an entrepreneur, the biggest challenge is chicken and egg story. Nobody gives you a job, in a contracting job especially, if you have not had an experience. And you will never get an experience if nobody is giving you a job. So this dilemma I also had to face. I said, in the meantime, what do I do? I got this offer from Cipla, which is a pharmaceutical company, and I was a civil engineer. And I joined them thinking that I will, with a pharmaceutical, with a multinational background they have, in terms of I'll have 2 days off in a week, so I'll get opportunity to work. But I understood nobody employs you with free time to give it to you. So it was almost like 24 hours job in terms, because they had a big project coming in Patalganga and Kurkum, and I was made in charge. And by default what happened was, they could not get anyone on the mechanical, electrical or other sides. As a result of which I became the engineer in charge for entire construction. So brick by brick, from a bare site, the building was finished and handed over. And it was done in record time and on expectation, much beyond the expectations of the management. So when this was over, they said, now you take over this factory as the chief engineer. In those days, chief engineer's job is never held by a civil engineer. It's always either by a mechanical or an electrical engineer. And they thought that they are giving me a promotion. And I didn't want to say on the day one that I would not take it, but after 2 days I went back and told them, I'm not interested in this assignment, as I feel I'm not fit for what you are giving me the job. Because I am a project man and I will fail in maintenance. I don't have the attitude of a maintenance guy. So they were surprised. Here is a guy who is refusing promotion. But one of the senior directors there had a liking it, watched me during the process of projects, and he said, what do you want to do? He said, I want to start my own. So the next project, which there was a residential project coming up, I said, I will do it for you as a contractor instead of being as an employee. And I will do it at a cost. You take tender, and at 5% less than the lowest tender, I would do that job. I had that confidence to tell them, because I knew anybody who is going to take a job is going to take with profit. And I can beat that because I have the confidence to do that. It was a smaller job. In those days it was about 20 crores or so. And usually, typically in EPC contract, as you all know, there is no big capital required. There is small capital required, and the client gives you advance, and then you have billing processes. You get some credit if you have established contacts. So in my year of previous experiences with those 3-4 contractors and others, I had established good network of vendors and subcontractors with who had good confidence in me as well. And I said I could do this job. Unfortunately for me, that job didn't happen. And I told the management, I'm going and I'm going to do this job. Management didn't want me to leave. So what they did, coincidentally again, within 3 months they had a bigger job coming, which was 3 times, like it was an 80 crore job at that in those days. And they said, called me and they said, we're willing to give you this. Are you taking the challenge? I said, I can do it. I have one reservation. On 20